Welcome back to Wednesdays with Finn. You must be wondering to yourself, Finley, why is your space continually changing? And that's because I'm never in the same place for like more than a week at a time. I mean, I usually am, but apparently just not this summer. My location's gonna change next week too because I'm in the process of moving right now. It's a mess. Anywho, we've been going through the kings of Judah, right? So last time we left off on Uzziah. Y'all remember Uzziah. He's the one who got too big for his britches, so God struck him down with leprosy. Yeah, that guy. He's succeeded by his son Jotham. Now, Jotham did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, but as should probably not surprise you, he decided not to enter the temple. It's almost like entering the temple was Uzziah's downfall or something. I don't know. Like his daddy before him, Jotham was an infrastructure guy. He rebuilt Judah's defenses and he also rebuilt the upper gate, but unfortunately, like his dad before him, he did not tear down the high places, so the people still had places to worship foreign gods. Have we not already seen this movie? Tear down the dadgum high places. I swear, if these men do not tear down these stupid high places, I'm gonna blue skidoo into this Bible and slap somebody. Oof. These men are bringing out my Texas. Anyway, Jotham actually did pretty well as far as kings go. He walked steadfastly with the Lord. He helped rebuild Israel. He walked well. The dude even beat the Ammonites in a war and exacted a pretty hefty tribute for Judah each year as a result. He reigned for 16 years and afterwards was succeeded by his son. Next up we have Ahaz. He took the throne at age 20 and ruled for 16 years, all 16 of which were terrible. Unfortunately, Ahaz followed in the ways of the kings of Israel and worshipped false gods. He worshipped foreign gods, but he also did it under every single hanging tree and in the high places, which, is great. And additionally, he sacrificed his own son on the altar of one of said foreign gods, so that's great. Needless to say, God had just about enough out of Ahaz. Y'all remember King Pekah of Israel? Like, Pekah! That guy? So he and King Rezin of Aram come in and kick Ahaz. In one day, King Pekah killed 120,000 men of Judah and cost them Elath. The only city that Ahaz was able to keep them out of was Jerusalem. This must have spooked Ahaz pretty badly because he sends for help from the king of friggin' Assyria. Observant viewers might note this as a terrible idea. Y'all remember Assyria? You know, that one nation that skins their enemies alive and then puts them in holes in the front yard to scream and cry. I see no way this could go wrong. So, it goes wrong. At the time, the Philistines and the Edomites were chipping away at Judah and carrying off the people. So, Ahaz calls in the Assyrians who then chip away at the kingdom and carry off the people. Ahaz sees this happening and goes, okay, I have the solution. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pray to the gods of the people who just conquered me, and they're going to help me because that makes perfect sense. On top of that, Ahaz does this. Ahaz gathered together the furnishings from the temple of God and cut them in pieces. He shut the doors of the Lord's temple and set up altars at every street corner in Jerusalem. In every town in Judah, he built high places to burn sacrifices to other gods and arouse the anger of the Lord, the God of his ancestors. You heard that right, friends? Not like a little state-mandated paganism, am I right? You know what? I'm going to make the entire nation of Judah fall away from God even more than it already has, because why not? At this point, why not? My apologies, friends, but at this point, the kings have cost me my last tattered shreds of sanity. The good news in all this is that Ahaz did have the good grace to die and leave us Hezekiah. Next up is best boy Hezekiah. Don't at me, Christians, but I like Hezekiah better than I like David. Not gonna lie. My boy cleansed the temple, he took down the high places, and unlike everybody else, he cut down the Asherah poles. This man deserved every year of his 29-year reign. He trusted the Lord more than any other king before or after him. He walked faithfully. God reciprocated. He was like, yeah, boy, and gave him success against the Philistines and the Edomites and basically anyone else who came and tried bring it in his neighborhood. This very much includes one of the greatest showdowns in all of the Bible, Hezekiah versus Assyria. Unfortunately, I do not have time to cover this entire saga, but seriously, it is so cool. For real, read it. Some highlights, however, include, was it only to your master and you that my master sent me to say these things? And not to the people sitting on the wall, who, like you, will have to eat their own excrement and drink their own urine? This in addition to a bunch of Assyrian officials just shouting at the people saying, don't let Hezekiah trick you into trusting the Lord. Trust in us. We will take care of you. Also, Hezekiah just deciding to reroute all the waterways so that the Assyrians didn't have any water. Oh, and that one time that the angel of the Lord killed 185,000 Assyrian soldiers, and then all the soldiers woke up and were like, hey, 185,000 of us are dead. This is an issue. So Hezekiah won, and it was a good time. But then, later on in his kingship, he got kind of sick, to the point of death. Hezekiah was like, oh, Lord, but I served you faithfully. And Lord's like, I got you, fam. Here's 15 more years, and also you're healed. And Hezekiah's like, hex yeah. Also, I'm secretly very prideful, and this is going to become an issue. So an envoy from Babylon comes and just is like, hey, yo, Hezekiah, how you doing? You feeling better? Hezekiah's like, yeah, I'm feeling great, bro. Come, look at all my treasure. And Babylonians are like, don't mind if I do. And then they view everything that he owns, and then that lays the groundwork for Babylon taking over Judah, later on. And it's kind of stupid. This, not your smartest moment, Hezekiah. Hezekiah dies after the 15 years are up, and he's succeeded by his son Manasseh. Manasseh ruled for 55 years. Manasseh is also just a shining example of what happens when, yeah, you're a great king, but you forget how to parent your children. You know how Hezekiah was characterized by his love for God? Manasseh, on the other hand, he rebuilt the high places his father Hezekiah had demolished. He also erected altars to the Baals and made Asherah poles. He bowed down to all the starry hosts and worshipped them. He built altars in the temple of the Lord, of which the Lord had said, my name will remain in Jerusalem forever. In both courts of the temple of the Lord, he built altars to all the starry hosts. He sacrificed his children in the fire in the valley of Ben Hinnom, practiced divination and witchcraft, sought omens, and consulted mediums and spiritists. He did much evil in the eyes of the Lord, arousing his anger. He took the image he had made and put it in God's temple, of which God had said to David and to his son Solomon, in this temple and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes in Israel, I will put my name forever. I will not again make the feet of Israelites leave the land I assigned to your ancestors, if only they will be careful to do everything I commanded them concerning all the laws, decrees, and regulations given through Moses. But Manasseh led Judah and the people of Jerusalem astray, so that they did more evil than the nations the Lord had destroyed before the Israelites. Yeah, so I think it's pretty safe to say that Manasseh was a bad king. I also think it's safe to say that God agreed because, well, the army commanders of the king of Assyria took Manasseh, put a bolt, a ring through his nose like a bull, bound him in irons, and took him off to Babylon as prisoner. After this rather abrupt wake-up call, Manasseh really did repent. He would destroy the altars he created. He tried to bring Judah back to the Lord, but by that point it was kind of too late. This brings us to our last king, Amon. Amon was the son of Manasseh, and he only reigned for 2 years in Judah. Amon followed in the ways of Manasseh, but not in his repentant ways. He followed the, pre-Babylonian capture Manasseh. As a result, Amon's officials conspired against him, assassinated him, and put his son Josiah in his place as king. We'll pick back up next week with Josiah, but for now, I think we just need to stop and reflect. What can I say about these people that I have not already said? If you're gonna clean house, you gotta clean house, guys. Also, train your successors well. It doesn't matter how many good things you accomplish, because if you have not prepared that next generation, everything is going to go to pot. Also, one thing we can note from especially Manasseh is that God will not hesitate to break your legs if it will save your eternity. One positive thing, though, I have noticed throughout this entire saga is the incredible faithfulness of God, because despite everything that happened, God still maintained his promise that a descendant of David would always carry a lamp in Jerusalem until the end of time. That's all I have for this week. So next time we're going to pick back up with Josiah, and we're going to finish out the kings of Judah. But until then, stay safe, make wise choices, and happy Wednesday.